What's up, Cowboys Nation? The Dallas Cowboys just won and they advanced to 5-2. They beat the Detroit Lions 24-6 in Dak Prescott's first game back. Let's go and jump on in and let's talk about the Cowboys.
On the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.
Like I said, the Dallas Cowboys win. They win 24-6, and they advance to 5-2 in Dak Prescott's first game back. This is his second game of the year, and this is a really good win. This is the kind of, and I talked about it in my pregame prediction video, where the Dallas Cowboys needed to come out here and win. They needed to show that they were the better team. And at some parts, they struggled. And I'll say this, the Dallas Cowboys were the better team today. Obviously, because they won. But the only thing that is holding this team back, and I've struggled with this, but I think it's two things. I think it's penalties, because that first half, man, penalties. It is the worst thing that you can do besides turnovers, is just hurting your team with penalties and penalties and penalties. But the second thing I noticed in this game is Kellen Moore. And we're going to talk about him in a little bit, but that's my initial reaction. That's what I learned from these first two, from these games here. And those are the two things that I noticed in this team that are really affecting them going to the next level. But let's go to jump into stats. Let's talk about this a little bit. Dak Prescott at his first game back. I had predicted that he was going to go 2 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. I thought he was going to throw for 200 yards, and I thought he was going to go 15 for 20, because I thought you can go out there. You don't have to change the formula. And if you're one of those fans that were kind of worried about the Dallas Cowboys changing the formula for the way that they won the first 4 games with their run and their defense, well, you don't need to worry, because that's exactly what they did in today's game. It took them a while. They needed to wake up a little bit, but they were able to establish that, and they won in the way that they won the 4 other games this season. They ran the ball, and they played good defense, and the defense, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to turn this hat around, and this is what I call the Dan Quinn right here. Because this is a Dan Quinn game. 5 turnovers from his defense, man. They showed up in that second half and they closed out this game. But let's jump into stats. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Dak Prescott goes 19-25, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, threw that touchdown to Hendershot in the end zone towards the end of the game to seal the game again. I thought they already sealed the game with the Zeke touchdown. I was really hoping for 3 touchdowns from Ezekiel Elliott, but he gets 2, so that's even better. That's awesome. But Dak Prescott had a really good game. He had a really solid game, and he did what I expected him to do. And that was to not throw the ball that much, not rely a lot in the passing game. And the Cowboys, for the most part, kind of did what they wanted to do. They wanted to run it through the running backs that they had, and they did exactly that. And Dak made the throws that he needed to in the moments. That first half was rough, but I'm looking at this stat line. That's a clean stat line. That is a good, and I talked about this in my pregame prediction video, where I'm looking for a clean stat line. I did not want to see Dak throw 300, 400 yards, nor did I want to see him throw it 30, 35 times, 40 times, 25 times, and 19 of those were complete, and he throws over 200 yards. That was the formula I was looking for, and they did exactly that. Let's take a look at the running backs here. Tony Pollard, man, 12 carries, 83 yards, no touchdowns. But, man, this offense got started behind Tony Pollard. And Ezekiel Elliott, 15 rushes, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just a really clean stat line. Together, total rushing yards for this game was 139 yards. That is Cowboys football right there. That is some good offense. You look on the offensive side, receiving, CeeDee Lamb had 4 for 70 yards, no touchdowns, but he was very involved in the game plan in the second half and made some really key catches to move the chains. Noah Brown had a rough game. And I will start talking about this, about Noah Brown. This is why the Dallas Cowboys need to not go great value shopping and not look into the discount bins for some players. I love Noah Brown, and I love the surprise that he's been. But that's just kind of what you expect with the player that's not a starter, but now he takes on a larger amount of workload at the beginning of the season when Michael Gallup was out. It's just the two go hand to hand. Like, you're going to see Noah Brown have some production at some point. But this is why you pay for good players, so that little plays like that, don't happen, and I'm talking about Noah Brown fumbling in the 5-yard line when we were about to score before the end of the half. If Noah Brown doesn't fumble, this game is 31-6, and it comes in line with what I thought this game was going to be, and I thought it was going to be a blowout. I thought the Cowboys were going to dominate, and they still did. 24-6 is a really convincing score in that way, but that's why you go out and you get good talent. That's why you don't believe in your guys. That's why they're your guys and not another team's guys. It's because they're not highly sought, because they see these things in these players that can come back and bite them. And I know the Cowboys really like to believe in their guys, but things like that are going to happen when you don't invest good money in good talent. So that's all I'll say about that. He had a really rough game. He also had the catch in the first drive, which I thought coming out of the drive, I'm gonna criticize Kellen Moore a lot in today's video, into today's post-game reaction video. But I thought the way they came out in that first drive, I thought it was a good play call. Play action to start the game, get Dak Prescott out of the pocket, which he's really, really, really good in the play action, and then on the run throws the ball. The ball was slightly overthrown, but it was still catchable, and Noah Brown just dropped it. I thought Kellen Moore did a fine job opening the game up with that first drive. It's just some players, don't make the catches, and that's why you have to invest good money in good talent. And so the defense went off today, man. I mean, what else do I have to say? I mean, Micah Parsons had a sack. He's so good at closing out the game, man. It's like watching baseball sometimes with Micah Parsons, because once he's the closer, man. He's the closer. When you want a game finish, you just want it done with. You don't want them to come back or anything like that. You send Micah Parsons in, and this guy knows how to close games. He knows how to just sign off on games and stamp the W on the final score. He caused that forced fumble at the end, and he was just unstoppable in those final 2 minutes. He had a sack. Donovan Wilson had a sack. DeMarcus Lawrence had a sack. Sam Williams, second-round draft pick from Ole Miss, 2 sacks. He got in on the fun. He had that WWE wrestling tackle right there. I'm surprised it wasn't called for a flag, how soft the NFL is. But that was an amazing play. 2 interceptions. I said that Diggs was going to get an interception. He did get one. Trayvon Diggs had one. Jordan Lewis had one. I hope you're okay, Jordan Lewis. I hope you come back just fine. Looked a little bit rough right there, you getting on the cart. So I hope it's not anything crazy. But overall, this defense really set the tone, man. I mean, even in the first half, 6 points. And that's what Cowboys fans need to calm down. They need to calm down. They need to understand a couple of things. And I'm about to educate y'all on this. Football is a 4-quarter sport. You could, and we've seen this time and time again, you can dominate for 55 minutes, 58 minutes. If you don't dominate for 60 minutes, if you don't play all the 60 minutes, you're leaving something up to chance for the other team to come back. And so, yes, the Dallas Cowboys got off to a slow start. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys struggled in that first half. But I'm sitting there thinking, okay, penalties and turnovers are the 2 things that really held us back in that first half, and you're telling me we're only down by 3 points and our defense has held the other team to 6 points? The offense, mind you, the offense that a lot of people said were going to put up a lot of points. Well, they did put up a lot of points. They put up 6 points, and they didn't even score a touchdown against the Cowboys. So I sat there in my first half. I was very frustrated at halftime. Thought the Cowboys could be a lot better. I think without the Noah Brown interception, they could easily be up, 10-7, 14-7 at that, or 14-6 at that point. But I'm just, it's a full game, guys. There's still a third and a fourth quarter. The Cowboys were going to wake up. They were the better team, even when they were struggling. These self-inflicted penalties and turnovers, that's on the Cowboys. If you tune that up and those things don't happen, this game's not even close in the first place. And that's exactly how I felt in my pregame prediction video. And that's how I felt in the first half. And I just knew that the Cowboys were going to get it together. And if they didn't, the loss was going to be on them. But there's too much accountability on this defense and this team to allow that to happen. And that's what you get with a guy like Dak Prescott, to be honest. He holds that accountability with the offense and the team, and he's a true leader. And not just only with him, you see it with Micah Parsons, you see it with Trayvon Diggs, you see it with DeMarcus Lawrence. And so let's take a look here at a closer team stats right here. Total yards, 330 to the Detroit Lions, 312. Like I said, Dak Prescott didn't need to come out here and throw for 300, 400 yards. And my pregame prediction prediction video said that, we just needed to ease him back in, and we needed to rely on the thing that got us to 4-2. And they did exactly that. They ran the ball. They played good defense, 139 yards. Total penalties, the Cowboys had 7 to the Lions 8. And I think there's some weird statistic out there that when the Cowboys have 10 more penalties than they've lost every game that they played this year, which would be 2. I guess they fall under that because they only had 7. But really, third down efficiency, 2 for 9. Obviously would love to see that happen a little bit more, to see that improve a little bit more there. But the Cowboys, they found a way to win today, and it was really ugly in that first half. But let's talk about something, even though I am super happy, and of course it's always better being 5-2 instead of 4-3. I am super scared at the moment for the fact that I think Kellen Moore is the main thing that is holding this team back. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, if you've seen me talk about Kellen Moore, you know I dislike this man. I do not like his play calling. I do not like his offensive schemes. I think he gets way too cute, and he makes it way too complicated, more than it needs to be. And that showed up today. And let me tell you something. This offense struggled in their 4 wins. We saw that. They found a way to win. They ran the ball. I got that. They won 4 games without Dak Prescott. But they still struggled in those 4 games. And now they struggled with Dak Prescott and without Dak Prescott. By process of elimination and basic troubleshooting, there's only one more person left in this equation that we can blame, and it is in fact 100% Kellen Moore. This man is not helping anybody. He is not even helping his quarter. Now, I would love to see Dak Prescott, and I'm talking one specific example I'll use here. It's 3rd and 1. And instead, and they do that formation that I love. Ezekiel Elliott as the fullback, Tony Pollard as a running back. I love that formation because most of the time they just hand it off to Zeke. Quick snap, quick handoff to Zeke. He gets the first down. 3rd and 1, he decides to fake the handoff to Zeke, pitch out to Tony Pollard. He gets stopped. We punt. What in the world? Don't make it too complicated. You got a linebacker for a quarterback. Just quarterback sneak it in. I'll be happy. I would be satisfied if you just ran it with Zeke and we didn't get it. But why are we getting too cute in that situation and pitching it out to Tony Pollard? There was a couple instances too where he ran a couple of reverses with CeeDee Lamb when we were just killing clock. There's no need to do that. This man, and I will say it again, Kellen Moore only has a job because somehow, someway, he successfully networked and knew Jerry Jones. This is a man who had different interviews with other teams, and they said, nope, we're good. We're not offering you the job. He wasn't even offered a job to be a head coach. That should be an indication that if they don't want him, maybe the Cowboys should ask themselves, should we keep him? This man loves to pad his stats and make it look like he's a genius. But we all saw what happened in the wild card when he played the 49ers and his offense was ripped to shreds. This man's a fraud. And I'm glad we're 5-2. We got a good defense. And my hat's backwards right now for Dan Quinn and this defense, because that's the reason why we're 5-2. Not because of Kellen Moore. This man has got to go now. I know we're 5-2, and that would be so dramatic, and it would never happen. But thank you, Kellen Moore. Give me your headset. Mike, you're calling plays now. This offense obviously doesn't have a lot of its weapons as it did last year, but there's no excuse to the way we've been performing in the way that we have been. Well, Kyle, you're 5-2. You're winning games. Well, last year we were 6-1. We were 7-1. We had a great season, 12-5. This man's going to crumble under pressure in the playoffs. This man has the most... I'm done. I want to be happy about this win. Because obviously, like I said, it's better to be 5-2 than 4-3, and the Cowboys found a way to win. And they did. And I'm super happy about that. But there's like something rising in the air. There's something just like in the corner. And it's Kellen Moore. He's just peeking over the corner, ready for his opportunity to ruin the Cowboys season again. I could see him. I could just smell him in the air. It's awful. It's disgusting. This man's a fraud. He's a fake. He's a phony. And I want him out of Dallas. This man's holding back Dak Prescott. He's holding back this offense. That's all I got to say about that. Comment down below. But other than that, the Cowboys got a win today, 24-6. They are 5-2. We got to wait for to see how the other games plan out, but this is good. This is good. I'm glad we got a win back with Dak Prescott, 5-2. Let's keep it going. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to follow me on TikTok. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And I will see you guys this coming week for my pregame prediction video for the Chicago Bears. I will see you guys then. Go Cowboys!
Down the field, Lamb, 10, 5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.